Hey there, I'm going to show you how we made our homemade Ender's Game trailer. Clipped this t-shirt to the top of my head. Don't ask why. Just don't even ask. So this time we started with all the miniature stuff. We took the first section and we set up a blue sheet for the sky, and then some of the shots need clouds, so we used another white sheet and sort of just puffed it up on the table and made it look cloud-like. And then bought some little jet toys and painted some of them a little bit and put them on some wires or strings and tried to knock out some of those jet shots. And they go by really, really fast in this trailer. It's just like fast, 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 fast. But you know, we look at every single shot and see what we need to put together. There's a couple shots with a bunch of alien ships. Beans. And we just kind of poured them down and played it in reverse, and so it just looks like tons of little ships going by.
When I graduated, I didn't think I'd actually become a bean counter.
There's some cool laser effects that happen, and we use these little glow sticks, the kind that you break and then you shake them up and they glow. They didn't glow super bright, but like at least it's something, and you know, these shots go by so quick, but we just kind of like wave that in front of the camera. One of the jets gets hit by one of these lasers, so we use these little sparklers that are safe for using indoors, and we just taped it right to the jet and then put it on a wire and just spun that thing. Uh-oh, what's going on here?
Definitely wanted to make sure the explosion actually blew the tail wing off.
Lost the whole wing. And then we have what looks to be the mothership of all these smaller alien ships. So I just made that out of cardboard, and it kind of looks like a prawn, sort of.
What? Oh my god, the flame trail covers the stick.
Then we have all the battle room stuff. That's the really cool, big, open space where these guys are floating around doing some kind of training simulations, it looked like. So we just set out to make tons of these little triangles so we could just arrange them for all the different shots. So we drew out the lines on some cardboard, made large ones, and made small ones, and became this weird geometry problem that John and I sat there scratching our heads like, this seems like it'll be really easy. We just need to make a bunch of triangles. Ended up being really challenging for some reason. Some of them I pieced together and made the actual like four-sided triangular, whatever you want to call those. So we had 2 big ones, 4 small ones, and then all the other miscellaneous pieces. So put out a black sheet, lay those things down, just arrange them depending on what the shot was. You just kind of line them up and get your little action figure in there and get these cool shots where they're sort of floating and landing and doing all these crazy things in this weird open anti-gravity room. So there's 2 shots of the entrance of the battle room too, which is really cool. It's like this big flat open area with tons of triangles on there and then like a hallway. So I just drew that whole thing, kind of just eyeballed it, drew all the lines, and then there's like a little hallway, which I made out of a toilet paper roll that I spray painted white on the inside and then just drew some lines, lit it from behind, and then you get this cool sweeping shot that goes up to the hallway. And then later in the trailer, you get to see the continuation of that shot, and there's 2 little figures. So I just cut these tiny little figures out of paper, painted them black, stuck those in the hallway. So as you come up on the flat surface and make your way into the hallway, you see the 2 little people, and then you get to see inside the hallway, and it's lit from behind, and it just looks really cool and epic.
It's the outer edge of the shell that they're in the battle room.
The battle room, he's the expert.
It's like glass, so when you're inside the battle room, you see through the glass, you can see like Earth in the background.
Nerd alert. Then there's some other space stuff. You know, you leave the black sheet up and then shoot against it. There's also really sweet like space station thing that goes by. I built that out of a little plastic container and a little plastic ball. Attached them, kind of made the structure a little bit. Really just pieced that thing together, painted it black, drew some lines on there, and then on camera it ended up looking really cool. It looked pretty close to the real thing. There is one miniature shot that we hooked up with the live action one because it was too hard to do all live action and it might have been lame to do it all miniatures. We did this with one of our Back to the Future shots where we started live action and then went miniature. So we did it again here where we start live action with me and kind of this round portal. So I needed to cut out an archway for Ender to look through, so I'm just going to trace the clock tower because it's the perfect size. I'm in a spaceship. And then as the camera turns around, we dissolve into a miniature so then we can get the whole outside of the portal and a planet in the background. So there's one shot where some kind of long spaceship explodes. Even though it's just in one shot, we got to build that thing real quick, made a tube, drew some lines on it. Okay, are we gonna use fire? We can use sparks. We tried this a few different ways. We tried attaching some sparklers to the side of it, thinking that we could light the sparklers, have those going, and then do like a blast of fire. Okay, hold on. For some reason, these sparklers just would not light. These are seriously the worst sparklers ever. So it just became this crazy, like this one lit, but then this one didn't, then that one went out, and then fire, and just didn't line up right. So we scrapped that idea. It was already kind of burnt, and we had some holes in the side, so then we decided to just stick some other sparklers inside the holes. Turns out these big ones are way better than the little tiny ones. Those ones suck. And that worked out great. Those are the bigger sparklers that we've used before. So we lit those, got the sparks going, and then blasted that big fireball, and that was it. So now we move on to the live action stuff. There's a lot of people in this, a lot of miscellaneous shots. Some people are only in 1 or 2 shots. Which is more important? Do we have someone who looks like them? Have someone that sounds like them? A little of each? A lot of times we reach out to actors and stuff. We reached out to Piat, who's one of our regulars, and Chris, but part of the fun of these is that we get to reach out to just friends and people that don't have any acting experience, and we think like, oh, you know who looks like this person or who looks like this person, so we just call them up, hey, you want to be in the trailer? A couple of these shots have a group of people in them. We got like that baseball sort of shot, we got the tumbling martial arts shot, so we just called some friends over who wants to come over, put this silly thing on, be in a few shots. Chris plays the Ben Kingsley role, and he's got this sweet head facial tattoo. So we just went for it and sat him down, put on a fake nose, and then I used a little like eyeliner pen, just drew all over Chris's head and his face, and it turned out looking pretty sweet. Cue the time lapse.
Whoa! Yeah!
And since I play Ender, it was kind of fun that my wife Priscilla gets to play the Haley Steinfeld role, so we had that little moment sitting at the table, the meet cute, they call it. And then I had Piat sit and do all the VO for it, since Harrison Ford's voice really carries the trailer, so he plays the role, and then we did have him record all the lines for it too, because he does a really good Harrison Ford impression.
If we're going to survive, we need a new kind of soldier.
Costumes pretty simple on this one, but a lot of jackets, kind of official looking space jackets and uniforms. I think they're supposed to be jumpsuits, but we don't usually see it from the waist down, so I just bought some jackets. Made the little emblems or the patches. There's a specific little gecko logo, totally 90s style, that goes onto the jackets. And then some miscellaneous all white outfits going up the stairs, or yellow, blue, and green stuff for the group shot. We noticed in the martial arts section that they are wearing Adidas, and so we got that right. We were wearing Adidas. Well, at least one of us was wearing Adidas. Priscilla. Sometimes we dress up like idiots in front of strangers in apartments. Ready to go. There's one tricky shot. We weren't exactly sure how we're going to pull this off. It's the shot where Ender kind of has this big, I don't know if it's a projection in front of him or he's looking out a window, whatever it is, there's supposed to be a moon and it's very big. So it ended up being a combination of things. We shot the little crescent moon, kind of shot through a slinky, so we could get like the moon and these lines that kind of go out, and then played that back on a big projector against a white wall. So that thing is like 10 feet wide on the wall, and then I just sit in front of it. And normally if I'm gonna be in front of the projector, there's gonna be a big shadow. So we ended up putting the projector as close as we could to the actual camera lens, so they're both going straight at me. So when you see my back and you see the projection happening, I'm not really causing a shadow. Ben Kingsley discovers a slinky.
It's incredible.
The final shot that leads into the titles at the end is a mixture of so many different things. The first part of it is supposed to be going past like a spaceship, and then it shoots some lasers. So we just made a tiny little spaceship, actually out of like 2 toy guns and a shield. We just taped them together, and then we used yarn like we usually do for lasers. So I'm laying on the ground shooting upwards because we're going to be pulling some yarn, and we want it to look like it's going really straight. So the gravity should keep it straight, and we're just going to pull it through this hole here, and I'm just going to be shooting up at the planet. And then after that happens, it switches to a quick shot of like one of those plasma balls that has electricity that goes everywhere. And then you cut to explosion, where we just had fire going towards the camera. And then that dissolves to the actual titles, where it says Ender's Game, and we got some little sparklers that go off. So all those pieces together create that final shot. And that's how we made our homemade Ender's Game trailer. Hope you liked it. Be sure to subscribe to Cinefix because we've got new episodes every Tuesday. And let us know what other scenes and trailers you want to see us try. So we'll see you next week.
The baseball bat we're using is the spaceship we blew up yesterday. It's real. Yeah. Might work just yet.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
We're calling this the cornholio. It's just put your face through the front of a t-shirt and wrap it around. These are our helmets, but we're using them like this.
Wait, it's upside down. Ah, now it makes sense.
I think I'm taking the nose off first. See what I look like with a big hollowed out nose area. Ben Kingsley no more.